Slow key, and I say I am Mr. Super Facts. Okay, today's topic. Uh, this guy is worse than controlled opposition. He is similar to a troll that every now and then is going off script. Let's have a real conversation. Nick Fuentes. I'm gonna play this clip really quick, but the point of this video, it's important to study everybody, family, friends, partners, co-workers, bosses. I don't give a fuck. It's important that you study everyone around you. Be observant. Why not be hyper aware, you know? But I'm on record saying that Nick Fuentes was my favorite character in the show, okay? And I didn't, like I said, I didn't know much about him until recently. I've been doing a lot of research. Once I lock in on anybody, you know, I'm gonna find out the hypocrisies. I'm gonna find out what's your real intentions, what's your motives. I'm gonna find this shit out about you once I lock in. I just never paid attention to this guy. And now I'm gonna play this clip where he's on record basically talking about this is his intent, this is his motive, this is the reason why, and or his end game of why he's, he's out here, saying what he's saying and doing what he's doing.
I'm getting a little bit of notoriety. I'm making a little bit of money. I'll tell you something. It doesn't make a fucking difference to me. And if they ban me tomorrow, and if they froze my money tomorrow, I would go back on Cozy TV, live at 8 o'clock, or midnight, or 3 a.m., or whenever I feel like it. Because I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the fame or the notoriety. I'm not even doing it to be liked. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you give me adulation or praise. I'm doing it because at 18 years old, I tried to tell the truth about Israel. And from the very beginning, I got screwed over by these fucking people that hate our country. I'm just doing it for pleasure at this point. I am just doing it for the pleasure, for being a human wrench thrown into the system. That's why I do this.
So he said out his own mouth, like I said, I don't reach, I don't take shit out of context. I hear, I base a person's motives, intent directly from the horse's mouth, and he just told you right there that he does what he does simply for pleasure. Okay, this America first shit, you have to read between the lines. The world is a stage. Everything in front of us is bullshit. And this whole time, I've just been trying to figure out what's his intentions, what's his motive, what is his end game, this Nick Fuentes guy. And, when he talk like that, that makes me genuinely, because there's people that's not fueled by money, okay? But everybody has some sort of, there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. And there's something that you want out of it. And the psychological operation is code name America First. Okay? I heard something about they're not wearing the red hats anymore. Now they're wearing a blue hat. Nick Fuentes, he's pushing the left-right paradigm. Any fucking individual that pushes the left-right paradigm, conservative, Republican, Democrat, liberal, anybody that pushes either side, and I'll go even another step. Anybody that believes in their heart that this system is savable, they're your enemy. They have not truly woken up. They have not truly accepted what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? That the system is rigged. So how do you save a rigged system? You have not woken up until you accept that the collapse is the only way for anything to change. And so this, once again, the psychological operation code name America First, right? He's doing this for pleasure. Okay, that's his ego. Once again, people that are still trapped in their ego, they are not your friend. They're your enemy. You're supposed to get the fuck away from that type of vibration. Um, Now another thing, if you listen to what he says, if you actually see a lot of people, he has a cult. Let's call it what it is. These are all, and that's another reason how they weaponize social media and the internet. Everybody has a cult now. It's not about the truth. It's about the cult. You understand? This is about monkey see, monkey do. It's about parroting the cult leader. Let's have a real conversation. It's just grown man shit, grown woman shit right here that I'm talking about. We not joking around right now, you know? So it's like a lot of things that Nick talks about is he says that verbatim out his mouth. You know, there's no place for content where people talk about murder, you know, harming politicians and things of that nature. These companies have no problem harming us. These companies have no problem selling cancer to us, killing the people that we love. Like, and what are we talking about? On every level imaginable. Okay? Just put a video out talking about how they're gonna start spraying chemicals on food that's supposed to be labeled organic. What are we doing? And we're not doing a damn thing about it. Nothing. We're just sitting. We're all, you know who the real NPCs? The real NPCs in this matrix are the people that actually like have the eyes to see the pure evil and still do nothing about it. Those are the real NPCs. At least the other motherfuckers are just, they're just, you know what I mean? They're like derp diddy derp derp derp. They have no clue of what's happening in the world. The real NPC, you know, let me take that back. Like, just, you know, what's worse than an NPC is a coward. Those are the cowards, the people that see what's going on in this world, see the evil that's taking place right in front of them, and still sit on their hands. What's worse than an NPC? A coward. Let's have a real conversation, okay? Now he says that, yeah, you know, there's not a place for that. You know, people don't want to hear content like that, but you know, the truth is, what are we doing here? You cannot vote your way. How many years people been voting? I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, bro, we live in a world where Donald Trump was the president, or is gonna be the president for almost a decade. Nah, nah. I don't. Yo, the simulation is like, it's like Black Ops 7 now. It's just trash. Like, you know, the simulation is like Call of Duty. It's just it's cooked. You know what I mean? So I've been paying attention to Nick Fuentes. Also, I didn't even know that he was at the Capitol with the whole January 6th situation. I had no idea that he was there. You know, this guy, he's a troll. And he's perfected, damn near perfected his craft. I will say that. I respect, you know, I'm a craftsman. I do respect anybody that puts the time and work in to perfect their craft. And Nick Fuentes has perfected the craft of trolling. He's a troll baby. Let's have a real fucking conversation. Nick Fuentes is one of the final bosses when it comes to trolling and trolling you out of your freedom. Trolling you out of your freedom. Let's have a real conversation, you know what I'm saying? So, very entertaining, you know, on a surface level, very entertaining. Now he's walking around calling himself, I think he came out with some merch, a t-shirt. He's calling himself a white ass nigga. I mean, if I ever see him, I'ma slap the shit out of him. Dead ass on everything I love. If I ever see Nick Fuentes in real life, the dude is small as hell. I'm smacking fire out of him. But I also saw a video. He's entertaining. I saw a video where he pulled up on Ben Shapiro, and Ben Shapiro is the definition of a coward. And once again, I don't give a fuck about Ben Shapiro. Never really looked into him or nothing like that. But the dude was walking. This is man shit. Ben Shapiro was walking, and then Nick Fuentes just popped out on him, and he was like, "Hey, what's up? What do you want to? You've been talking about me. Here's your opportunity to say it to my face." And Ben Shapiro was like holding his baby and pushing the stroller with his wife or with pregnant wife or whatever. And I'm like, see, and just ignored him. And I'm like, see, no, what a real man would have did. A real man. That's how you know this shit is just a bunch of these are not real men. These are not real men, first of all. A real man would have said, yo, baby, take this baby and go ahead. And I said, and a real man would have stood right there face to face and said, what's the issue? Yeah, they would have stood on business. Yeah, I said this about you. Yeah, what you want to do about it? And that would have been that. It doesn't necessarily have to be violent, but when somebody goes out of their way to confront you and you duck and hide, you're a coward. But then you run to the internet and you do, you know what I mean? You run to, you know what I mean? Like, you run to the internet to run your fucking mouth. But when somebody approaches you in real life, you run away. This is the world we live in, bro. And when you, like, bro, I was born in 1991. I don't know what cyberbullying is, nigga. Every bully I ever had was in real life. And you had to address that right there. Right then and there. Period. And that's how you become a man. By addressing confrontation right then and there. Not running, not hiding, not being a bitch. So it was very entertaining to see. I was like, oh shit, Nick Fuentes does pull-ups too? This nigga is crazy. Like, he's kind of like the political Kanye. But remember, Kanye West said it first. I don't give a fuck. Kanye West, and that's why they say never be the first person to do anything. Because you see how they did Kanye, and now here comes Nick Fuentes. Here comes Candace Owens. Here comes all these other motherfuckers on social media. And it's like, damn. And nobody giving Kanye his credit for jumping out the window and saying what he said about them motherfucking, you know what I mean? Them fake ass, you know what I mean? Them apple juice people. Let's have a real conversation. You know? We was Jews. We was Kangs. We was Kang Jews. Anyway, so all in all, to wrap this video up, because I gotta go back to work, but I'm seeing that, and then Donald Trump spoke about Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson in their interview and stuff like that. Listen, these people, Nick Fuentes is not going to die for your freedom. Nick Fuentes, his biggest fear is being a martyr. Let's have a real conversation. His biggest fear is getting clapped. See, when you a real truth seeker, you don't care about, like, that's an honor. That's an honor. To die in the name of the truth and hopefully progressing, just being like, a light or some sort of like motivating people. Just like motivating people to wake the fuck up and actually organize and do what we supposed to be doing. It's an honor, to transcend on that type of frequency, not afraid of death, not in fear, not being a coward. It's a spiritual honor, man. It's divine. Like, yo, it's a divine sacrifice. Let's have a real conversation, man. And these people, Nick Fuentes, he does not want to die. He talking about America first. Nick Fuentes don't want to die for America. In his heart, he does not want to die for America. He wants to continue. He wants to actually enjoy being the leader of this troll cult that he has. I think they call him It's just such a stupid ass word that I can't remember. Like the I want to say I want my brain want to say Goyim so bad, but I can't remember the name of his little troll cult. You know what I mean? Because his response is always, you know, it comes back to voting. It comes back to politics. You know, the groypers. I mean, like tell me you're an incel without telling me you're an incel. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Tell me you're a fucking. Tell me, and a lot of people are saying that he's gay. A lot of people, and he looks like a gay. He looks like a gay hybrid Mexican. Okay. All right. Say this. I saw a clip. I don't know if it's AI because we live in a world. We live in a world where now we live in a world where we have to ask the question: is that AI? It's just, bro, get out of here, man. But I heard a clip where he said having sex with women is gay. But once again, you can't. It's hard to take somebody like Nick Fuentes like genuinely seriously because I love a good troll. I love a person that's unserious. One of my favorite personalities is of the Joker. You know, just pure fucking, you don't know what to, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what to expect. But at the same time, on a deeper spiritual level, if we having a conversation about the real truth, Nick Fuentes does not want to die for your freedom, my freedom. He don't want to be he's Cypher, okay? Nick Fuentes, if we was in the Matrix, Nick Fuentes is Cypher. He's enjoying, his troll cult, and he's enjoying, now it feels to him that the tables have turned. Because like he said, he takes pleasure out of seeing Israel or the Zionists or Jews. He takes pleasure out of seeing the narrative kind of be flipped on his head. Let's have a real conversation. But at the end of the day, Nick Fuentes has no power. He has no power. And he's not willing to die for anybody's freedom. He's not willing to die for anybody's, sovereignty. He's not willing to, he talks about how, he always mentions like, well, if something happens to me, who cares? Who cares? See, when you really about that life, you ain't even Candace Owens talking about if some, bro, when you really about that life, what's understood doesn't need to be said. But see, Nick Fuentes, once again, they gonna kill the people that's trying to bring people together. They gonna kill you. If you're trying to bring people together, they're gonna kill you. And I'm talking about everybody. When you're trying to bring everybody together, they're gonna try to kill you or kill you. When you take an oath to them, like a Charlie Kirk, when you take money from them and support and leverage and clout from them, and you disobey, you bite the hand that feeds you, they're gonna kill you. I mean, these are all like, you know what I mean? The page 1 of the Illuminati handbook or whatever. Okay. All right. The Zionist Bible, whatever you want to call it. This nigga said muffin cap. So let's have a real conversation and pay attention. I think if I cannot be honest with you, I think it's a beautiful psyop. I think it's being, he's like the underdog. He's like, like they said he was #1 on Spotify and they took him down. He's like, they might push him up there to be like the next Joe Rogan, because that's what I'm waiting for next. I'm waiting for him to go up on Joe Rogan. That's the next interview. Him, Theo Von, all of that shit. That's how you know. So I'm not gonna say he's an industry plant, but they are gonna figure out how to like properly utilize and weaponize, Nick Fuentes' movement. Let's have a real conversation and get everybody right back in line with the agendas that they have moving forward. See, if Nick Fuentes was a real warrior, like a real spiritual crash out. He was like, yo, I'll die about this shit today. Fuck the left and the right. You know what I mean? Like, then I'd be like, all right, bet. You know, but if people not talking like that, they not on that. You know what I mean? If people not talking like that, if you're not ready to get shot in your fucking head because you trying to bring people together, or you trying to get rid of you know, you're not trying to actually take some pieces off the chessboard, you know, it is what it is. You feel me? So I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, but definitely pay attention. It takes time, man. You know, it's taking me like over a month to understand like Nick Fuentes and get a background on him. Like I said, I didn't even know that he was at the January 6th shit. Because I don't pay attention to that shit. Any like political shit, I really don't like. You know what I mean? I don't want to give my attention to that. But he's an instigator. And he was instigating that those people, he was like, oh, well, we're storming the Capitol. And then he goes and talks to Tucker or somebody, and he was like, oh, my people were nowhere near there and all of this shit. But you was sitting there instigating. Just like how Donald Trump, once again, trolling people out of their freedom. Trolling people out of their literal freedom. Let's have a real conversation. So, it's a video. It's low key. I say I am. You know who I am. This guy is doing this shit for the satisfaction, and you have to ask yourself, so what comes next? You know, what comes next? Is he just gonna tell you to vote for the next politician that don't give a fuck about you? Because I don't care. I don't give a fuck if it's Marjorie, whatever the fuck her name is. I don't care if it's Massey, Thomas. All of them can go to hell. These are the same people that got paid every day during the government shutdown. While they told the people paying them to go fuck themselves. These are the same people told you to go fuck yourself while they was collecting a check in the government, the people that work for you. I'm up out of here.